The morning sun cast long shadows across the courtyard of Kensington Palace as Catherine, Princess of Wales, reviewed the latest reports from her early years foundation. The numbers were staggering. In just 2 years, her groundbreaking research initiative had reached over 2 million families across the United Kingdom, fundamentally changing how society understood child development in the crucial first 5 years of life. Catherine's fingers traced the statistics on the glossy report cover. The foundation had successfully partnered with more than 50 organizations, from major hospitals to community centers in remote Scottish villages. What had started as her personal passion project had evolved into the largest study of early childhood development in British history. The journey hadn't been easy. When Catherine first proposed the ambitious research program, skeptics questioned whether a member of the royal family could drive meaningful scientific change. Some critics dismissed it as another superficial royal patronage. Others worried that the scale of her vision was too grand, too complex for practical implementation. But Catherine had always been different. Even before joining the royal family, she possessed an analytical mind that craved substance over ceremony. Her university studies in art history had taught her to examine details others might miss, to see patterns and connections that weren't immediately obvious. These skills proved invaluable as she dove deep into child development research. The breakthrough came during a visit to a struggling primary school in Manchester. Catherine spent the entire day observing, not as a royal making a ceremonial appearance, but as a researcher gathering data. She watched 5-year-old Emma struggle to tie her shoes while her classmates moved confidently through their morning routine. The teacher explained that Emma's family circumstances had provided little opportunity for developing fine motor skills. That evening, Catherine called her research team. She had identified a critical gap. Existing early years programs focused heavily on literacy and numeracy but overlooked fundamental developmental milestones that affected everything else. Children were arriving at school unprepared not because they lacked intelligence, but because they hadn't received adequate support during crucial developmental windows. The insight sparked a revolutionary approach. Instead of treating symptoms, Catherine's foundation would address root causes. They would work with families from pregnancy onward, providing resources and support during the most formative period of human development. The program would be comprehensive, evidence-based, and accessible to families regardless of their economic circumstances. William watched his wife's passion project evolve with deep admiration. As second in line to the throne, he understood the weight of public expectations and the challenges of creating meaningful change within traditional royal frameworks. Catherine's success demonstrated that modern royalty could be both principled and practical, honoring tradition while driving innovation. The Early Years Foundation's first major initiative launched in 20 pilot communities across England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Each community received a different combination of services. Some focused on parent education, others on healthcare integration, and still others on early intervention for developmental delays. The diversity was intentional. Catherine wanted to understand what worked best in different contexts. Local health visitors received specialized training to identify developmental concerns earlier. Community centers offered free workshops where parents learned about brain development through simple, engaging activities. The foundation partnered with toy manufacturers to create affordable educational materials specifically designed around the latest neuroscience research. The results exceeded everyone's expectations. Children in pilot communities showed measurably better school readiness across multiple indicators. Parents reported feeling more confident and better equipped to support their children's development. Perhaps most importantly, the program began changing cultural attitudes about the importance of early years. Catherine's approach wasn't just about gathering data, it was about storytelling. She understood that lasting change required shifting public perception. During her royal engagements, she consistently highlighted early years development, explaining complex research in accessible language that resonated with ordinary families. At a children's hospital in Birmingham, Catherine spent time with premature babies in the neonatal intensive care unit. She learned about the latest research on brain development in premature infants and the critical importance of parent-child bonding even in medical settings. These experiences informed new foundation initiatives supporting families during medical crises. The foundation's work caught international attention. Researchers from Harvard Medical School requested collaboration opportunities. The World Health Organization invited Catherine to present her findings at their annual conference in Geneva. What had begun as a British initiative was becoming a global model for early childhood intervention. Media coverage shifted from focusing on Catherine's fashion choices to examining her substantive contributions to public policy. Academic journals published papers citing her foundation's research. Child development experts who had initially approached the royal involvement with skepticism became enthusiastic supporters. Behind the scenes, Catherine worked 18-hour days reviewing research proposals, meeting with academic advisors, and visiting communities implementing foundation programs. She insisted on visiting every pilot location personally, not for photo opportunities, but to understand implementation challenges firsthand. During a particularly challenging week in Newcastle, Catherine encountered a single mother named Sarah, whose 3-year-old son had been identified with potential developmental delays. The Foundation's early intervention program had provided Sarah with specialized support and resources. 6 months later, her son was thriving in nursery school, displaying none of the concerning behaviors that had initially worried his teachers. Sarah's story became emblematic of the Foundation's impact. It wasn't about changing individual lives, though that mattered enormously. It was about demonstrating that society could invest proactively in children's development rather than reactively addressing problems later. The economic argument was compelling. Every pound invested in early years development saved multiple pounds in later intervention costs. Catherine's success attracted attention from unexpected quarters. Technology companies offered to develop apps supporting early childhood development. Universities proposed collaborative research projects. Government ministers sought her input on national policy initiatives. The Foundation's influence extended beyond direct programming. Catherine's advocacy helped secure increased government funding for health visitor training. Her speeches at international conferences influenced early childhood policies in 12 different countries. Major corporations began implementing family-friendly policies after learning about her research on workplace stress and child development. As the first phase of her initiative concluded, Catherine reflected on how much had changed. The quiet university graduate who had married Prince William had evolved into a recognized expert on early childhood development. Her foundation had demonstrated that royal influence could drive meaningful, measurable social progress when combined with rigorous research and authentic commitment. The success created new challenges. Demand for foundation programs far exceeded capacity. Media attention, while generally positive, sometimes overshadowed the substantive work being accomplished. Catherine navigated these pressures while maintaining focus on expanding the Foundation's reach and deepening its impact. Standing in her Kensington Palace office, surrounded by research reports and thank you letters from families across Britain, Catherine understood that this was only the beginning. The Early Years Foundation had proven that comprehensive early intervention could transform individual lives and strengthen entire communities. Now the challenge was scaling these successes to reach every child who could benefit from enhanced early years support. The unprecedented success of her first major initiative had established Catherine as more than a royal patron. She had become a genuine force for social change, combining the platform of her position with the credibility of evidence-based research. The partnership between academic rigor and royal influence was creating opportunities for progress that neither could achieve alone. William often remarked that Catherine's work represented the best of modern monarchy, using privilege and platform to address real challenges facing ordinary families. Her success was changing not just early childhood development policy, but public expectations about what members of the royal family could and should contribute to society. As Catherine prepared for the next phase of expansion, she carried with her the stories of thousands of children and families whose lives had been touched by her foundation's work. These personal connections fueled her determination to continue pushing boundaries, challenging assumptions, and demonstrating that meaningful change was possible when passion met purpose and royal influence aligned with genuine expertise. The helicopter circled over the remote Welsh Valley before landing in a field adjacent to Bryn Community Center. Prince William stepped out, adjusting his casual jacket against the crisp mountain air. This wasn't a ceremonial visit. Today marked the launch of his most ambitious project yet, the Earthshot Prize environmental initiative that would reshape global thinking about climate solutions. William had spent 3 years developing the concept. Unlike traditional environmental awards that recognized past achievements, Earthshot would fund future innovations. The prize would identify and scale the most promising solutions to environmental challenges, providing winners with funding, mentorship, and global platform support to accelerate their impact. The idea crystallized during a 2019 visit to Kenya, where William witnessed both devastating environmental destruction and inspiring grassroots solutions. In remote villages, he met entrepreneurs, developing innovative approaches to waste management, water conservation, and sustainable agriculture. These innovators possessed brilliant solutions, but lacked resources to scale their impact. Traditional philanthropy often moved too slowly for the urgency of environmental challenges. Government funding frequently got trapped in bureaucratic processes. Private investment sometimes prioritized profit over planet. William envisioned something different, a prize that could move at the speed of innovation while maintaining rigorous standards for environmental impact. The Welsh Community Centre buzzed with excitement as local residents gathered to hear about new sustainability initiatives supported by Earthshot funding. William had deliberately chosen this location for its symbolism. Rural communities often bore the brunt of environmental challenges while possessing deep knowledge about sustainable living practices that urban populations had forgotten. Margaret Evans, an elderly sheep farmer, approached William with weathered hands and sharp eyes. Her family had worked this land for 6 generations, witnessing dramatic changes in weather patterns and soil health. She shared observations about shifting rainfall patterns that aligned perfectly with scientific climate data. William realized that environmental solutions required bridging the gap between traditional knowledge and cutting-edge technology. The Earthshot Prize structure reflected this insight. 5 annual prizes of £1 million each would address distinct environmental challenges: protecting and restoring nature, cleaning the air, reviving the oceans, building a waste-free world, and fixing the climate. Each prize would support solutions that could be scaled globally within a decade. William's personal involvement went far beyond ceremonial endorsement. He studied environmental science, met with leading researchers, and immersed himself in understanding complex ecological systems. His royal position provided access to world leaders, but he earned credibility through demonstrated knowledge and genuine commitment. The selection process required assembling a council of environmental experts, business leaders, and activists who could evaluate innovations across diverse fields. William recruited Nobel Prize winners, successful entrepreneurs, and representatives from communities most affected by environmental degradation. The council's diversity ensured that Earthshot would recognize solutions that were both scientifically sound and practically implementable. During development phases, William visited potential prize winners across 6 continents. In Costa Rica, he learned about revolutionary approaches to reforestation that could restore damaged ecosystems while providing economic opportunities for local communities. The innovation combined satellite monitoring, drone technology, and traditional ecological knowledge to optimize tree planting efforts. In Singapore, William explored vertical farming facilities that produced fresh vegetables using 95% less water than conventional agriculture, while requiring no pesticides. The technology could transform food production in water-scarce regions while reducing agriculture's environmental footprint. The visit reinforced his conviction that environmental solutions often delivered multiple benefits simultaneously. The prize announcement at London's Science Museum attracted global attention. William's presentation combined scientific rigor with emotional resonance, explaining complex environmental challenges in accessible language while highlighting hope-inspiring solutions already emerging worldwide. Media coverage focused not on royal ceremony, but on substantive environmental content. International response exceeded expectations. Within 6 months, Earthshot received over 1,400 applications from innovators in 75 countries. The diversity was remarkable. A teenage inventor from India developing air purification technology, a team of marine biologists creating coral reef restoration methods, indigenous communities sharing traditional water conservation techniques enhanced by modern sensors. William personally reviewed hundreds of applications, traveling to visit the most promising innovations. In Bangladesh, he witnessed floating agriculture systems that allowed farming on flood-prone land while capturing carbon and reducing greenhouse gases. The innovation addressed climate adaptation while providing food security for vulnerable populations. The first Earthshot ceremony took place at Alexandra Palace, designed as a carbon-neutral event that demonstrated sustainable event management. Winners came from around the world to receive their prizes and access ongoing support networks. The ceremony featured performances by musicians committed to environmental causes, but the focus remained firmly on celebrating innovations that could help repair the planet. William's approach differed markedly from traditional royal patronages. Rather than lending his name to existing organizations, he had created something entirely new. The Earthshot Prize operated with startup efficiency while maintaining institutional credibility. William's direct involvement in strategic decisions ensured rapid adaptation to changing circumstances. The prize's impact extended beyond funding individual innovations. Earthshot created networks connecting winners with each other, fostering collaboration between innovators who might never have met otherwise. A waste-to-energy company from Kenya began working with urban planners from Denmark, creating solutions applicable in both developed and developing countries. Corporate partnerships emerged organically, as businesses recognized Earthshot's role in identifying scalable environmental solutions. Technology companies offered cloud computing resources. Manufacturing firms provided prototype development support. Financial institutions created investment vehicles specifically designed to fund Earthshot innovations. William's credibility grew as environmental leaders witnessed his depth of engagement. He wasn't simply promoting environmental awareness. He was actively catalyzing innovation and supporting implementation. Climate scientists who had initially been skeptical of royal involvement became enthusiastic collaborators. The prize influenced government policies worldwide. Ministers began referencing Earthshot innovations in national environmental strategies. The European Union cited Earthshot winners when developing new climate legislation. Developing countries incorporated prize-winning technologies into their national development plans. Success created new challenges. Media attention sometimes overshadowed the innovators William sought to highlight. Managing global operations required sophisticated coordination across multiple time zones and regulatory environments. Ensuring that prize money reached intended beneficiaries while maintaining accountability required careful oversight. William addressed these challenges by building robust administrative systems while maintaining personal connection to prize winners. He established regional offices in key markets, staffed by environmental experts who understood local conditions. Regular communication with winners ensured that Earthshot support remained relevant and effective. The second year's applications demonstrated growing sophistication as word spread through environmental innovation communities. Universities began developing curricula around Earthshot challenges. Accelerator programs focused specifically on preparing startups for Earthshot applications. The prize was catalyzing broader innovation ecosystems rather than simply funding individual projects. International recognition followed. The United Nations invited William to address the General Assembly about Earthshot's role in accelerating progress toward sustainable development goals. Harvard Business School developed case studies examining Earthshot's innovative approach to environmental philanthropy. Academic journals published papers analyzing the prize's impact on global environmental innovation. William's success with Earthshot demonstrated that environmental leadership could come from unexpected sources. His royal platform provided access and credibility, but substantive impact required genuine expertise and sustained commitment. The combination proved powerful for advancing environmental solutions at unprecedented scale and speed. As the third year of Earthshot commenced, William reflected on how much had changed since his initial vision. What began as an idea to support environmental innovators had evolved into a global movement connecting solutions across continents and cultures. The prize was demonstrating that environmental challenges, while daunting in scale, could be addressed through human creativity and innovation when properly supported and scaled. Standing in the Welsh Valley where he had announced Earthshot's launch, William watched local schoolchildren plant trees using techniques developed by prize winners. The children represented hope that environmental solutions could create a more sustainable future. Their enthusiasm reminded him why Earthshot mattered, not just for the planet, but for the generations who would inherit whatever world current actions created. The unprecedented success of Earthshot was changing how environmental challenges were approached worldwide. proving that royal influence could drive meaningful progress when combined with scientific rigor, global perspective, and unwavering commitment to results that mattered more than recognition. The secure video conference room at Kensington Palace hummed with activity as William and Catherine connected with military commanders, government officials, and mental health experts across 4 time zones. Their joint initiative to transform veteran care and military family support had reached a critical juncture that required immediate coordinated response. The crisis began when statistics revealed alarming trends in veteran mental health outcomes. Despite existing support services, too many former service members struggled with post-deployment adjustment, and military families faced unique stresses that traditional support systems weren't equipped to address. William and Catherine recognized that their combined expertise in mental health advocacy and royal military connections created an unprecedented opportunity for meaningful intervention. William's military service had provided intimate understanding of challenges facing armed forces personnel and their families. His deployment experience as a search and rescue pilot offered credibility that opened doors and earned trust within military communities. Catherine's mental health advocacy work, particularly her focus on children affected by parental trauma, complemented William's military connections perfectly. Their collaboration began during a visit to a military base where they met Sarah, a single mother whose husband had died during deployment in Afghanistan. Sarah struggled to support her 2 young children while managing her own grief and navigating complex military bureaucracy for survivor benefits. Her 8-year-old son displayed behavioral problems that school counselors attributed to unresolved trauma. Catherine's early years research had identified family trauma as a significant factor affecting child development, while William understood the unique pressures facing military families. Together, they recognized that existing support systems operated in isolation when families needed integrated, comprehensive assistance. The solution required unprecedented cooperation between military institutions, mental health services, and community organizations. William's royal military roles provided access to senior commanders, while Catherine's foundation work had established relationships with leading trauma specialists and child development experts. Their first innovation was the Military Family Resilience Program, designed to support families throughout the entire military life cycle, from initial deployment preparation through post-service transition. Unlike existing programs that activated during crises, their approach focused on building family resilience proactively. The program's centerpiece was a network of family support hubs located on and near major military installations. Each hub provided integrated services, mental health counseling, child development support, career transition assistance, and practical help with daily challenges like childcare during parent deployment. Catherine's expertise proved crucial in designing child-focused interventions. Military children faced unique stresses, frequent moves, parent deployments, and exposure to adult anxieties about family safety. The program created specialized support groups where children could connect with peers facing similar challenges while learning coping strategies appropriate for their developmental stage. William's understanding of military culture helped ensure that support services respected service values while addressing mental health needs effectively. Traditional military culture sometimes viewed seeking help as weakness, creating barriers that prevented families from accessing available support. Their program emphasized strength-based approaches that honored military values while promoting psychological wellness. The pilot program launched at 5 military installations across the United Kingdom, each serving different branches of the armed forces. William and Catherine visited every location personally, not for ceremonial purposes, but to understand implementation challenges and gather feedback from families using the services. At RAF Bryce Norton, they met Marcus, a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress who had avoided seeking help for 3 years after leaving active duty. Marcus's wife Emma had contacted the Family Support Hub in desperation when their teenage daughter began displaying concerning behavioral changes. The hub's integrated approach meant that Marcus received trauma counseling, while Emma got support for managing secondary trauma effects, and their daughter participated in a peer support group for military teens. 6 months later, Marcus had returned to work in a civilian role that utilized his military skills. Emma had completed training to become a peer counselor for other military spouses, and their daughter's school performance had improved dramatically. The family's transformation demonstrated the program's potential when comprehensive support addressed interconnected family needs simultaneously. International military organizations requested information about the British program's innovative approaches. NATO allies began developing similar integrated support models based on William and Catherine's framework. The couple presented their findings at an international conference on military family welfare, sharing lessons learned and best practices with representatives from 15 countries. The program's success attracted attention from veteran advocacy organizations worldwide. American veteran groups invited William and Catherine to explore adaptation opportunities for different military systems and cultures. Their approach influenced policy discussions about veteran care in Canada, Australia, and several European countries. Corporate partnerships emerged as businesses recognized the value of supporting military families and veterans. Technology companies developed apps specifically designed for military families, providing secure communication tools for deployed parents to maintain connection with children. Healthcare providers created specialized programs addressing military-specific trauma and family stress. Catherine's research background proved invaluable for documenting program effectiveness and identifying areas for improvement. She insisted on rigorous data collection to measure outcomes across multiple indicators: family functioning, child development, veteran employment, and community integration. The evidence-base supported program expansion and influenced broader policy discussions about veteran support. Media coverage evolved from focusing on royal involvement to examining substantive policy implications. Academic journals published research papers analyzing the program's innovative approaches to military family support. Social work schools began incorporating case studies from the program into their curricula, training future professionals to work effectively with military populations. The success created opportunities for addressing broader veteran issues beyond family support. William and Catherine recognized that employment challenges often contributed to veteran adjustment difficulties. They developed partnerships with major employers, specifically focused on translating military skills to civilian careers while providing ongoing support during transition periods. Their employment initiative connected veterans with mentors who had successfully made similar transitions. The program provided practical support like interview preparation and workplace adaptation assistance, but also addressed psychological aspects of leaving military structure and building new professional identities in civilian environments. Results exceeded expectations across all metrics. Veterans participating in the employment program demonstrated higher job retention rates and career advancement compared to control groups. Employers reported high satisfaction with veteran employees and requested expansion of partnership opportunities. The royal couple's joint leadership demonstrated how complementary expertise could create synergistic effects. William's military credibility opened doors that might have remained closed to traditional mental health advocates, while Catherine's research background ensured that interventions were evidence-based and effectively implemented. Their collaboration influenced how other organizations approached military family support. The integration model they pioneered was adopted by civilian social service agencies working with veteran populations. University research centers began studying their approach to develop theoretical frameworks for family-centered veteran services. Success stories multiplied across the program network. A deployed soldier used mobile technology developed through the initiative to maintain daily contact with her preschool daughter, supporting the child's emotional stability during a challenging separation period. A veteran struggling with civilian employment found meaningful work through the Career Transition Program and became a mentor for other veterans facing similar challenges. The program's influence extended beyond direct service delivery. William and Catherine's advocacy helped secure increased government funding for veteran mental health services. Their research findings influenced policy recommendations about military family support and veteran transition assistance. As the program entered its third year, William and Catherine reflected on lessons learned about collaborative leadership and systemic change. Their joint initiative demonstrated that complex social challenges required multifaceted solutions that addressed individual, family, and community needs simultaneously. Standing before a group of military families celebrating program achievements, William and Catherine understood that their collaboration had created something larger than either could have accomplished alone. The Military Family Resilience Program represented a new model for royal engagement, combining platform access with subject matter expertise to drive meaningful, measurable improvements in people's lives. Their unprecedented success was transforming how military families received support while demonstrating the potential for collaborative royal leadership to address complex social challenges through innovative, evidence-based approaches that honored both royal tradition and contemporary needs for effective, accountable public service. The boardroom at the headquarters of the Royal Foundation buzzed with unprecedented energy as Catherine and William reviewed proposals from their latest joint initiative, a revolutionary digital platform designed to democratize access to high-quality education and mental health resources globally. The project represented their most ambitious collaboration yet, combining Catherine's expertise in early childhood development with William's experience in large-scale program implementation. The inspiration came during a virtual school visit that took place during the pandemic lockdowns. William and Catherine had been conducting online sessions with students who were struggling with remote learning when they met Aisha, a brilliant 10-year-old from Birmingham whose family couldn't afford reliable internet access. Despite her obvious intelligence and eagerness to learn, Aisha was falling behind because she lacked basic technological resources that her wealthier peers took for granted. Catherine recognized that educational inequality was creating developmental disparities that could affect children for their entire lives. William understood that digital divides reflected broader social justice issues that required systematic intervention. Together, they envisioned a comprehensive platform that could bridge these gaps while providing unprecedented support for both educational achievement and mental wellness. Their vision extended far beyond simply providing technology access. The platform would integrate evidence-based learning modules with mental health support tools, creating a holistic approach to child development that addressed both academic and emotional needs simultaneously. Catherine's research had demonstrated that learning and emotional well-being were inextricably connected, making integrated support essential for optimal outcomes. The development process required collaboration with leading technology companies, educational research institutions, and child psychology experts. William and Catherine spent months meeting with potential partners, evaluating different technological approaches, and ensuring that any platform they endorsed would meet rigorous standards for both educational effectiveness and child safety. Privacy and security considerations were paramount. Catherine insisted that the platform protect children's data with the highest possible standards while remaining accessible to families regardless of their technological sophistication. The team developed innovative approaches to user verification that ensured child safety without creating barriers for legitimate users. The educational content combined cutting-edge learning science with engaging, age-appropriate activities. Catherine's early years research informed the development of modules specifically designed for different developmental stages, ensuring that 3-year-olds and 13-year-olds received equally appropriate content tailored to their cognitive abilities and emotional needs. William's experience with large-scale program management proved crucial for coordinating complex partnerships and ensuring successful platform launch across multiple countries simultaneously. The technical infrastructure required to support millions of users while maintaining security and performance standards demanded sophisticated project management and international cooperation. Beta testing began with 50 families representing diverse socioeconomic backgrounds, geographic locations, and technological capabilities. Catherine and William insisted on personal involvement in the testing process, conducting virtual meetings with participating families to understand user experiences and identify areas for improvement. The feedback revealed both opportunities and challenges. Parents appreciated having high-quality educational resources accessible from home, but many needed additional support to effectively facilitate their children's learning. The platform team developed comprehensive parent guidance materials and established virtual support groups where families could share experiences and strategies. Mental health integration proved especially valuable during testing phases. Children using the platform during stressful periods demonstrated improved emotional regulation and academic performance compared to control groups. The combination of learning support and emotional wellness tools created synergistic effects that exceeded the impact of either component alone. Launch preparations required coordination with educational authorities, child protection agencies, and technology regulators in 15 countries. William and Catherine personally met with government officials to address concerns and demonstrate the platform's commitment to child welfare and educational excellence. The global launch event took place simultaneously across multiple time zones, with William and Catherine appearing via video conference to introduce the platform to families worldwide. The event featured demonstrations by children who had participated in beta testing, showcasing both the platform's capabilities and its positive impact on learning and emotional development. International response was immediate and overwhelming. Within the first week, over 100,000 families had registered for platform access. Educational ministers from 23 countries requested meetings to discuss integration opportunities with national education systems. Child development experts praised the platform's innovative approach to combining academic and emotional support. Success created immediate scaling challenges. The platform's popularity far exceeded initial capacity projections, requiring emergency infrastructure expansion and additional customer support resources. William and Catherine worked directly with technology partners to ensure that rapid growth didn't compromise platform quality or child safety. Corporate partnerships emerged as companies recognized the platform's potential for positive social impact. Technology firms contributed computing resources and technical expertise. Educational content creators provided specialized materials for specific learning challenges. Mental health organizations offered clinical oversight and evidence-based intervention strategies. The platform's influence extended beyond direct user impact. Traditional educational publishers began incorporating mental health components into their materials after seeing the platform's integrated approach. Schools started requesting training for teachers on supporting students' emotional development alongside academic achievement. Research institutions established studies to examine the platform's long-term effects on child development outcomes. Preliminary findings suggested that children using the platform demonstrated improved academic performance, enhanced emotional regulation, and greater resilience when facing challenges. Catherine's involvement ensured that the platform evolved based on ongoing research and user feedback. She established advisory panels, including child development experts, educators, and parents, to guide platform improvements and expansion decisions. The collaborative approach meant that updates reflected both scientific evidence and practical user needs. William's strategic oversight enabled rapid international expansion while maintaining quality standards. He negotiated partnerships with educational systems in developing countries, ensuring that the platform's benefits reached children who needed them most. Special initiatives provided free access and technical support for underserved communities. The platform influenced policy discussions about digital education and child welfare worldwide. Government officials referenced platform innovations when developing new educational technology standards. International organizations incorporated platform principles into guidelines for digital learning environments. Success stories emerged from unexpected places. A refugee family in Jordan used the platform to help their children maintain educational progress while adapting to a new country and language. A rural community in Kenya leveraged platform resources to supplement limited local educational options. An indigenous community in Canada used platform tools to preserve cultural knowledge while ensuring children met standard academic requirements. The collaborative development process created lasting partnerships between organizations that had never worked together previously. Universities began joint research projects examining digital learning effectiveness. Technology companies and mental health organizations formed ongoing partnerships to develop new tools for supporting child development. Catherine and William recognized that the platform represented more than technological innovation. It demonstrated new possibilities for royal engagement with global challenges. Their combined expertise and royal platform had created opportunities for meaningful impact that neither traditional monarchy nor conventional technology companies could achieve alone. Media coverage evolved from focusing on royal innovation to examining broader implications for educational equity and child development support. Academic conferences featured presentations about the platform's integrated approach to learning and mental health. Professional development programs for educators incorporated platform principles and methodologies. As the platform entered its second year of operation, Catherine and William reflected on lessons learned about collaborative leadership in the digital age. Their joint initiative had demonstrated that royal influence could drive technological innovation while maintaining focus on human development and social justice. The platform served over 500,000 children across 37 countries, providing evidence that high-quality educational and mental health resources could be democratized through thoughtful technology design and strategic partnerships. The unprecedented success was transforming how educational technology addressed child development while establishing new models for royal engagement with global challenges. Their collaboration had created something revolutionary, a digital platform that honored both educational excellence and emotional wellness, while demonstrating how royal leadership could drive meaningful technological innovation for social good. The platform's global impact proved that traditional institutions could successfully adapt to contemporary challenges while maintaining their core values and commitment to public service. The ancient walls of Windsor Castle had witnessed countless historic moments, but few rivaled the significance of the international summit taking place in the state apartments. Representatives from 43 nations had gathered to formalize adoption of the Cambridge Framework, a comprehensive policy model developed by Catherine and William that integrated their separate initiatives into a unified approach for addressing 21st-century social challenges. The framework represented the culmination of 5 years of unprecedented royal leadership that had transformed not only British society but influenced social policy worldwide. Catherine's early childhood development research, William's environmental innovations, their joint military family support programs, and their revolutionary educational platform had evolved into a comprehensive blueprint for evidence-based social intervention. The journey to international recognition had begun 18 months earlier when the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development requested detailed analysis of the couple's various initiatives. OECD researchers wanted to understand how programs that appeared distinct actually reinforced each other to create systemic social improvements that exceeded the sum of their individual impacts. Catherine's presentation to the OECD research team revealed the underlying connections between their different projects. Early childhood development affected educational outcomes, which influenced later environmental stewardship behaviors. Military families with strong support systems raised children who demonstrated greater resilience and community engagement. Digital learning platforms that integrated mental health support created foundations for lifelong emotional wellness and social contribution. William's strategic overview demonstrated how their initiatives shared common principles: evidence-based intervention, collaborative implementation, systemic thinking, and commitment to measurable outcomes. Their royal platform provided access and credibility, but success depended on genuine expertise, sustained commitment, and willingness to adapt based on results rather than tradition. The OECD analysis concluded that the Cambridge Framework represented a new model for addressing complex social challenges through integrated intervention strategies. Traditional approaches often address symptoms in isolation, while their framework recognized that social issues were interconnected and required coordinated responses that addressed multiple factors simultaneously. International interest accelerated rapidly. The European Union commissioned studies examining framework implementation possibilities across member nations. The UN Development Programme requested consultations about adapting framework principles for developing countries with different resource constraints and cultural contexts. Catherine and William found themselves at the center of global discussions about modernizing approaches to social policy. Their combination of royal platform, substantive expertise, and demonstrated results created unique credibility among world leaders who were seeking effective responses to persistent social challenges. The Windsor Summit represented formal international recognition of their contributions to social innovation. Delegates included heads of state, cabinet ministers, leading academics, and representatives from civil society organizations worldwide. The gathering aimed to establish mechanisms for sharing framework principles and supporting adaptation across diverse national contexts. Catherine addressed the summit about integrated approaches to child and family welfare, presenting research demonstrating that coordinated interventions during early childhood created positive effects that lasted throughout individuals' lives, while generating economic benefits that far exceeded program costs. Her presentation combined rigorous academic analysis with compelling personal stories from families whose lives had been transformed by comprehensive support services. William's environmental presentation showed how framework principles could accelerate progress toward climate goals, while strengthening communities and creating economic opportunities. The Earthshot Prize had demonstrated that environmental solutions often addressed multiple social challenges simultaneously, creating synergies that made comprehensive intervention both effective and efficient. Their joint presentation about educational innovation and mental health support revealed how digital platforms could democratize access to high-quality services while providing previously impossible opportunities for personalized intervention and outcome measurement. The global reach of their platform provided compelling evidence that framework principles could transcend national boundaries and cultural differences. International delegates shared their own experiences implementing framework-inspired programs. Canada had adapted early childhood development principles to support Indigenous communities while respecting traditional knowledge and cultural values. Singapore had integrated environmental innovation incentives with educational technology initiatives. Kenya had combined military family support concepts with community resilience programs, addressing climate adaptation challenges. The summit's outcome exceeded everyone's expectations. 43 nations signed the Windsor Declaration, committing to incorporate framework principles into their national social policies while sharing research findings and implementation experiences. The declaration established ongoing collaboration mechanisms and joint funding initiatives for addressing global challenges through coordinated local action. Media coverage focused on the substantive policy implications rather than royal ceremony. International newspapers published detailed analyses of framework components and their potential applications. Academic journals dedicated special issues to examining the empirical evidence supporting integrated social intervention approaches. The declaration signing ceremony took place in St. George's Chapel, chosen for its symbolic significance as a place where tradition and innovation had coexisted throughout British history. Catherine and William stood with world leaders as the first formal international agreement inspired by royal policy innovation was signed into history. Behind the scenes, the couple reflected on how dramatically their lives had changed since beginning their separate initiatives. Catherine had evolved from university graduate to internationally recognized expert on child development, whose research influenced policy in dozens of countries. William had transformed from military officer to environmental leader, whose innovations were accelerating global progress toward sustainability goals. Their collaboration had demonstrated that modern monarchy could drive meaningful social progress when royal privilege was combined with genuine expertise, sustained commitment, and willingness to measure success by impact rather than recognition. The framework represented a new model for royal engagement that honored tradition while addressing contemporary challenges with innovative approaches. Success created new responsibilities. Countries implementing framework principles requested ongoing consultation and support. International organizations sought their involvement in addressing global challenges beyond their original focus areas. Academic institutions offered research partnerships and teaching opportunities. Catherine and William established the Cambridge Institute to provide ongoing support for framework implementation while continuing research into integrated social intervention approaches. The institute brought together researchers, practitioners, and policymakers from around the world to advance understanding of how complex social challenges could be addressed through coordinated, evidence-based programs. The Institute's first major project involved developing framework adaptations for addressing refugee integration challenges. Drawing on their experience with military family support, educational innovation, and community resilience building, they created comprehensive programs that addressed refugees' immediate needs while supporting long-term integration and community acceptance. International recognition continued growing. The Nobel Committee contacted them about potential nominations for their contributions to international cooperation and social innovation. UNESCO requested their involvement in developing new approaches to global education policy that integrated framework principles with local cultural values and constraints. 5 years after beginning their separate initiatives, Catherine and William found themselves leading a global movement toward integrated social intervention that was transforming how governments, organizations, and communities addressed persistent challenges. Their unprecedented success had demonstrated that royal leadership could drive meaningful change when privilege was combined with purpose, tradition with innovation, and commitment with accountability. Standing together in the Windsor Castle State Apartments as international delegates continued their framework implementation discussions, Catherine and William understood that their journey had created something larger than either had originally envisioned. Their collaboration had not only addressed specific social challenges, but had established new possibilities for royal engagement with global issues. The Cambridge Framework had become a living testament to what modern monarchy could achieve when it embraced its potential for positive social impact, while maintaining the values and traditions that gave royal institutions their enduring significance. Their unprecedented success was inspiring a new generation of leaders to combine platform access with substantive expertise in service of creating a more just and sustainable world for everyone. Their legacy would extend far beyond their individual initiatives to the international movement they had catalyzed, demonstrating that traditional institutions could successfully adapt to contemporary challenges while maintaining their essential character and commitment to public service. The framework represented hope that complex global challenges could be addressed through collaborative leadership, evidence-based intervention, and unwavering commitment to measuring success by the lives improved rather than the recognition received.